All right, Nick, let's talk about Matt Rule and the Nebraska Cornhuskers. They've been doing a lot of great things all offseason. There's been a lot of great updates about star quarterback Dylan Raiola, and now a surprising voice has spoken up and given a lot of praise to Nebraska. I'm Andrew, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, Nick, as I alluded to, a surprising voice speaks up, gives a lot of praise to Nebraska here recently, and that's none other than national championship winning head coach Urban Meyer came on, gave them some big praise. Let's just get into the article and we can talk more about this on the other side. This is from over on SI.com. It says, former Ohio State coach Urban Meyer joined the Fox Sports program The Herd, hosted by Colin Cowherd. On Thursday, the two dove into several topics, including who he considered to be a surprise team in the Big Ten. People know this. I'm a Nebraska fan. If I was a player, I'd love to go to Nebraska. The history, the stadium, the fans are incredible, said Meyer. Meyer also gave some positive insight on Nebraska coach Matt Rule's team building culture and shared the same sentiment regarding Dylan Raiola. I think he's recruited well. Dylan is a really good player. I like their coach. Their coach knows how to win, Meyer said. He's won at every level. They're good enough to make some noise. Nick, I think this is really high praise from Meyer, a guy who's done it at that level. He's done it in the Big Ten, so his words come with a lot of weight to me. I'm curious what your thoughts on this one are. But before we get to you, Nick, Nebraska fans, in the comment section below, the season coming up soon. Big Ten has changed a lot of new games coming up. So let us know down in the comment section below. What game are you looking for the most? Who do you want to see the Cornhuskers go up again? What game do you think will prove that the Cornhuskers are here to save and prove it in the Big Ten? Let us know in the comment section below. But Nick, what are your thoughts on Meyer's comments on the Cornhuskers?
Look, I think it's an absolutely outstanding sign. And we've been talking about this all off season. It's all about energy, right? Energy momentum. It's a real thing. It's what programs build off of. And that's exactly what Matt Rule has brought to Nebraska. And you can feel it. It's palpable. And it's not just in the high level headlines, but like with Dylan Raiola, what Urban Meyer's noticing. It's like, hey, listen, they're recruiting well across the board. This is a much more talented team in terms of solid team building, roster construction than it was pretty much any time in the last 5, 6, 7 years. They're going to be a really solid football team. I think this is clearly the best team since the Pelini days, and Urban Meyer definitely recognizes it, right? And Urban Meyer knows, obviously, Big Ten football, right? He understands what it takes to win, what it takes to compete at that level. He is one of the smartest, one of the best college football coaches in modern college football history. His disastrous foray into the NFL as the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars obviously kind of dampened his public image a little bit, but he's still a great coach and he still really knows football and he knows what the heck he's talking about. He also, because he was a head coach at places like Ohio State and Florida, he knows PR, right? And if he didn't like Nebraska, he would have chosen a few select sayings, a few select words. He would have said, well, they're still a young team. They're going to be exciting, right? They're going to be fun, right? Those are kind of PR buzzwords of this team isn't very good, right? We're not expecting a lot. But again, he's directly complimentary. He says Matt Rule knows how to win. Dylan Raiola is a good player. They're going to make some noise. They're recruiting well. That's the opposite of just saying public stuff to make people feel good in terms of like, hey, I really don't think they're going to be good, but I got to say something nice on TV. What Urban Meyer said is, listen, these guys are for real. They're going to be a lot better than people give them credit for. And I think right now, a lot of the odds makers have the over-under in terms of wins for Nebraska right around 7, 7.5. It kind of fluctuates depending on the book you look at. I think that's well on the low side. Now, look, do I think they're going to be a top 12 team, go to college football playoff? No, I just think they're probably a year or two away from getting closer to that direction. But there's a lot of opportunities for wins on Nebraska's schedule. If you look at it, just going down their non-conference, the UTEP, Colorado, Northern Iowa. You're telling me they can't win? They're going to win at least two of those games. I sure hope so. I think they got a good chance to beat Colorado this year. Then you go Illinois, Purdue, Rutgers. I mean, look, there's a chance by their bye. Their worst case 4-2. I think 5-1 is realistic. Indiana, Ohio State, USC, UCLA, then USC, Wisconsin, then in Iowa. I mean, you're telling me they can't beat Indiana. They're telling me you can't beat Iowa. I know those are tough games. Look, USC is without Caleb Williams. That's in LA, so that's going to be tough. Wisconsin's, they're tough as well. I'm not going to. Ohio State is probably going to beat them, to be totally honest. But I mean, you look at their schedule, and there's no reason to not think they can't get to 9 wins. It's basically what I'm trying to get at here. And that's what Urban Meyer recognizes, right? Urban Meyer's recognized that this is a team that will make a lot of noise, that can make a lot of noise if they're healthy. And look, I agree with them. And I think Nebraska fans, you guys are feeling it, and we're feeling it from the outside too. There's a lot of energy building behind this program, and it's palpable.
Yeah, Nick, and like we said, this is really great praise from Meyer. And, you know, it is surprising, but really not that surprising because this time last year, well, not really this time, back in November of 2023, Meyer also gave a little bit of praise to the Cornhuskers as well, saying, you know, he really liked what Matt Rule was doing his first years in Lincoln. He implemented a really great program system. And I think we're seeing it come to fruition here. I think he's taking it to the next step. And it's like you said, if he didn't really like Nebraska, if he wanted to just kind of like give some good compliments on a topic that Coward brought up, he would say a couple of things here or there, some like, you know, vague terms, really kind of just get through it. But I think he really likes it. We've seen him talk about Matt Rule in Nebraska a couple of times. We've seen him come out here and praise him. And like we said, this is a guy, Urban Meyer, he's been in the Big Ten. He's done it at the highest level in the Big Ten before at Ohio State. He knows exactly what it takes to dominate in this conference. And I think he sees that in what Matt Rule's doing. It's like you said, I think maybe they're a year or two away of being like the absolute powerhouse in this conference. But I think if we see this team keep building, they're definitely in the right direction. We've talked about how we love their development so far. I think Nebraska is well on its way to being one of the most recognized teams in college football and a dominant force in the Big Ten.